Hi there, friends. I'm Vasco. I'm part of the team behind the first global Scrum Master Summit. If you're a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master Summit is a place to learn, to share, and to meet new friends. We will have lots of live sessions where you can meet and network with other Scrum Masters from all over the globe. So make sure you check it at bit.ly/SM Summit and the numeral 21. That's bit.ly/SMSUMMIT21. We have 7 amazing keynotes or more, as we are still organizing the conference as I record this, and 8 tracks that feature people like you and thought leaders sharing their insights and knowledge to help you become an awesome Scrum Master. So once again, check it out at bit.ly/SM Summit 21. That's all lowercase, all one word, SM Summit and the numeral 21. I'll see you on the virtual conference floor. All right, now on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Team Tuesday this week with Kamal Hans. Hi, Kamal. Welcome back.
You're welcome.
So, Kamal, on Tuesdays, we talk about teams, but we also want to know, where did you get your inspiration, right? So share with us what might have been potentially one of the most inspiring books for you in your career as a Scrum Master.
There are many, but I would say that the book that changed my way of thinking is Permission to Screw Up. It's from Kristen Hadeed, and it tells you about how you can embrace failure, how you can learn from your failure. You will screw up so many things in your life, but ultimately you have to get up and then reflect back and then take the learnings and then bounce back with the same energy and then same efforts. So that's the book that I kind of reflect back many, many times. And then I ask my teams to read it or my fellow Scrum Masters to read it.
And of course, a book like that is quite a great follow on from the Monday episode, which we had yesterday, where we talk about failures. And there's plenty of reasons for us Scrum Masters to learn how to do that, how to embrace failure. Maybe you can share with us one of the tools that stuck to your mind from that book that you apply in your work as a Scrum Master.
So in those books, they have many of those areas where Kristen Haddad herself talks about how she ended up being a leader and how she cared about their like her employees or her people that who are working for that. It's kind of a people first. That's the kind of a key thing that you need to talk about. And the most important thing here that she talks about is being vulnerable is okay. It's okay to show your weakness. As a Scrum Master, when you say that, hey, I don't know, I don't understand this technology, I don't understand what I'm going to do next, I don't understand how do I resolve this impediment. It's okay to be vulnerable and then ask for help. That's the biggest thing that I learned from this book.
Yeah, also an incredibly useful tool when helping the teams to become more self-sufficient is to exactly do that, right? Okay, so I'm conflicted. I don't really know what we should do next. What do we as a team think we should be doing next? That's also a great way to open up the space, to let the team take ownership of those problems that you feel they should now start to take over.
Exactly.
It's a great reminder. It's okay to be vulnerable and to ask for help because, it's not just us asking for help. It's also through that process, helping others to do the same. When they're stuck, they will ask for help as well. So it's a great behavior to model. So that was the book. But now, of course, today's Tuesday. So we talk about the teams that self-destruct. So Kamal, share with us a story of a team. Tell us a little bit about the context, what they were working, maybe how big the team was, but share with us the story of how that particular pattern or behavior started to develop that ultimately led to problems. So share that story with us, Kamal.
Sure, definitely. And this was the team a couple of years back. I started a new job, and people told me, hey, we are giving you these 2 teams. this team is the most high performing team in company, and they are amazing. They deliver all the time. They meet their target all the time. Everything is so awesome about them. And hey, there is another team. Seems like they don't meet their target. They don't deliver much. Most of the times they are spending time on their supporting work. So you have to be focused more on that team, less on the team which is high performing. So I went to the high performing team, and I was mostly into the listening mode, mostly in the observing mode. And they were right. 25 story point, deliver 25 story point. Committed 20 story point, delivered 20 story points. And whole year, I didn't even find a single sprint they could not able to deliver it. Amazing. But when I started kind of sitting in their planning sessions and then having a conversation, what I figured it out, they were not ready to take risk, because now they have built up that reputation. We are a high performing team. They were like very kind of playing safe and not at all thinking about what are the new innovations that they can do, what are the extra things that they can do, how they can come out from their comfort zone, how they can implement the new things to their deployment. They were not doing that. And that's where I think I went there and then challenged them. Hey, you are saying that 20 is good amount of story points. Let's start building it up in terms of maybe 20% extra. Let's push us a little bit. Let's do this deployment. Let's try to complete this goal. Let's try to figure it out what we want to achieve in this the next sprint. So those were the things that I felt it being high performing and being kind of the losing that high performing tag make them kind of a dysfunction there, where they forget about, hey, we are using agile. It's all inspect and adapt and improving all the time. We are forgetting about improving ourselves.
That's a great point. As you were describing the story, I was just thinking that, the Monday episode here on the podcast is all about failure, because if we don't fail, we don't learn, right? And if you're constantly seen as high performing, very likely you're not learning, because, other people see you as successful, you see yourself as successful. So why change? And in fact, as Scrum Masters, I'm sure many of us have worked in organizations that were exactly in that position. They were so successful in the market, they had no reason to change. And therefore, our work with them was so frustrating, because we see all those problems, but we don't see any motivation, any drive to improve. And the other thing that you said that I wanted to highlight is that teams that succeed all the time may be considered high performing, and quite rightly so. But teams that succeed all the time are also teams that don't take any risks, because if you take risks, once in a while, it's going to be a failure, and that's okay, right? As we were talking about in the book that you introduced at the start of this episode. So maybe that's for us as Scrum Masters, teams that are seen as high performing is one thing, and that's okay. But if they are seen as high performing and never fail, that is it should be a marker that what risks aren't we taking? What are we afraid of? What aren't we improving? Because, of course, if you don't fail, you don't need to improve, right?
Yeah, that's 100% right. And in terms of that's where the catch is, like when you are not taking enough risk, when you are always succeeding, you're not failing. And then if you are not failing, maybe you are not learning and improving. So eventually you have to learn from your mistakes. Or maybe you can learn from other people's mistake. That's fine. But if the team is not looking into the improvement, that's where it comes into picture. Like, hey, we are getting into the status quo. What is happening is we are just living like a machine here, coming, delivering, and really not challenging ourselves.
And of course, from our perspective as Scrum Masters, it may be that what they need to challenge next is not within the team. Maybe it is, outside. Maybe it is the interaction with other teams. It's not always that the team needs to improve. They might need to change how they work in order to fit the wider context, the organization that they work with. So it's very important for us to make sure that, especially when teams are considered high performing, that they are still, being true to the agile mantra of continuously inspecting and adapting.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's true.
Great story. Thank you for sharing that, Kamal.
You're welcome.
Tuesday is Team Day here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. But tomorrow we talk about something that goes beyond the work we do with the teams. We will talk about how to lead change and what our guests have learned from leading and participating in change programs during their career. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.